Hey guys, welcome to the episode on restoring the trailer. So we're going to get straight into it, and first things first is pull the boat off the trailer, because I don't actually know what the cross members of the trailer look like at the moment. I haven't even been under to have a look. So just got the back hitched up to 2 points. Got tyres down in a mattress so I don't damage anything, and I'm just slowly going to pull the trailer out from underneath the boat, hopefully. Well, there you go. I'll be honest, I didn't know it was a tipper trailer, but it is, and they come in really handy. It's not a bad thing. So, having a look, honestly, I don't think that any of the cross members are structurally compromised. There's definitely surface rust, but even on the bottom, I think it's thick enough to be fine, which is good because my welding skills, they aren't good. So now we're stripping 36 rollers off this trailer. Two ways to do this. First is using the multi-tool again. Second, sharp chisel and a hammer. Just break the pins and they'll all come off. All done. The chisel was a lot faster, turned out, so use that as much as you can. At some point someone's done a bit of an attempted repair with what looks like a new axle and hopefully new calipers and brakes and hubs, but they've just lopped the old brake line off and left a new one here ready for us to plumb into, which will be handy. So now I'm just going to jimmy the old brake line out of the trailer completely. So in the fading light, should have a nice big pile of shit left over. All the old stuff. Whether or not I replace the rollers, I don't know. They're probably still all usable except for one. They just don't look very good. But I'll see how much I can get them for. If they're cheap, I'll probably get them. But again, there's 36 of them, so could add up. Apart from that, that's it for stripping everything off the trailer. So I was having a look at basically hiring a sandblasting machine to do it, and I got a couple of quotes from people, and it's going to be about $300 plus you need to hire a compressor as well. I don't know how good it would be, but I talked to a powder coater that lives just down the road, and he said he'd do the whole trailer in his shipping container for $300 or $350 or something like that. So I think I'm going to take him up on that. It'll just fit inside, I'm told. But yeah, I don't think you can go wrong with that. So next time you see the trailer, it will be totally sandblasted. So trailer's back, and I'm so happy with the way that this has turned out. There's basically no pitting or anything on any of the cross members. They're all still pretty much as thick as they ever were. It's not structurally compromised whatsoever. The Place A1 powder coaters, I'll put a link to them up. Fantastic job. $300 for the whole thing. I've stripped just a couple more things off it, and yeah, now we're pretty much ready to start painting it. Just run through the products I'm going to use now. So before I say anything about these products, there's no denying it, the best treatment for a trailer is always going to be to have it hot dip galvanized again. That's where they come from the factory from, and well, it's lasted 20 years doing that, and it's still pretty good. So that is the best solution. But I got a few quotes, and it was going to be about $1,000, and this is sort of more of a DIY project. So I've rust proofed a lot of trailers, and I've had a lot of success doing it myself. So this is the process that I use. It's a 3-step process. All up, you're probably going to do about 10 coats of paint, but it works really well. So firstly, once it's sandblasted, galvanizing. This is a cold gal, just basically a zinc rich coating, and then for the spots that are a bit hard to paint with a brush, just some zinc spray. After that, you're going to give it a coat of primer. Just puts another coat of protection on it and lays down a surface for the actual top coat to adhere to. Metal cover, grey primer. And I'm going to finish this trailer in gloss black. And again, it's just another, it's an epoxy enamel paint, gloss black. It's all the same system. Seen a few other people use this. Like any paint job, 80% of it's preparation. So good, a really good clean with lots of rags, wax and grease remover to begin with. I'll start that in a minute. And I'll run through it at the end, but get fish oil. A few really hard to reach spots and actually inside the trailer. They're more likely to corrode out from the inside. So heavy duty fish oil and a can of spray for where that's hard to get to. So we're going to jump into now doing the clean. Wax and grease remover, plenty of rags, keep rinsing your rag. Do the whole trailer a couple of times, get all the contaminants off. It'll give the bottom coat the best chance of bonding and not bubbling and rusting out as possible. So first coat's going on. There's always a fair bit of run, so if you like your grass, probably put some bags down in places that are going to drip. Also, it's going to be a lot better if it's cool, so put it in the shade like I have. Now first coat, we're going for a cold gal, so a really zinc rich coating. So we're doing this with a can and brush, and for the really hard spots I've got an aerosol can of this as well. So with the brush, that's the technique. Try and get it into everywhere. The better you get it down around those bolt holes, the better the protection's going to be. That's one whole coat of gal done. All up, I probably used about 1 3/4 cans on that. I found it's a really thick paint. I was nearly considering putting a bit of thinner with it, but yeah, where I got it on, it went on really thick. So actually, I don't think I'm going to do a second coat of gal. I'm going to wait until it dries, probably turn the trailer over, go over it once more, and just get anywhere that it's obvious that I missed. There's a few little spots. Even though I thought I got them all, it's inevitable. But yeah, a really solid coat. I'm really happy with that. So with the rattle spray, just doing the last touches. Anywhere it looks like I might have missed, just giving it a one final coat. I definitely recommend lifting it up. Simply because I couldn't see what I was doing under the trailer. My paint job underneath was quite blotchy, so there was quite a few patches to fill in, and still is, so sort them out now. So we're on to the second layer, or I should say the second product that we're going to apply. This is going to be a heavy duty primer. So now we've got to start thinking about what the finish is going to look like. So on the side beams are the really visible bits. I'm going to start using a roller and just brushes in the hard to reach bits. So I have found it was a real pain, but lifting it up like this in the daylight, it makes it so much easier. So hopefully we get a much better, much more comprehensive coat. One of the other things I'm hoping to achieve with this primer is a bit more of an even coat. I'm not going to say it's perfect, but it's a lot better than just what the gal was before, and a lot better than what I was doing it with the brush. So I'm going to put in a bit of a night session now. Basically I'm just going to sand down all the really visible parts of the trailer, just so the final coat is a lot smoother and there's a lot less imperfections on it. put it on really thick here, so hopefully we can sand it back a bit. Choosing the orbital buffer again with a 180 grit. So get into that now. So this is the last coat. Now I tried using the tub of paint and the roller, and I was honestly getting better results with the rattle spray. So I've gone and exchanged the tin of gloss black for about 4 cans of this. So one last coat, just rattle spray. Car parts have arrived. I love it when car parts arrive. Well, trailer parts more like it. So this is everything we're going to need to fit out the trailer. So time to put new rollers on this. Now I did end up getting a really good deal with rollers. Bought them off the guy I always buy trailer parts off. It's called Huntsman Products. They've got a good eBay store. They do have a warehouse in Brisbane as well. I think I paid about $8 a roller, which is pretty good. I'm reusing the washers because there's not much point in putting new ones on, and got new split pins. I have had to drill out all 36 of these split pins. They're just not budging, even with a hammer and a sharp point. So used a few drill bits, but they're all done now. So in time for new rollers. Probably pretty obvious how these rollers go on, but once the hole's drilled out and clean, put them on. Old washer, because of the layers of paint, it'll be a bit hesitant. Just get a big socket. Split pin in. I'll go around and do all the split pins later. Well, that's it for the rollers, all 36 of them. Split pins down and put a bit of lanolin in, a bit of fish oil in every one of them. So for the last step of rust prevention, we're going to try and go after the rust that's actually inside all the cross members. So often it's actually the worst inside and it'll literally corrode out. So we're going to try and prevent that. Now for this, we're using a little pump, but if you've got a good funnel that'll work, and a big container of liquid fish oil. And you probably guessed it, we're literally going to pump the cross members full of oil and then let it drain out there. So we want to give all of them a coating along the bottom of an inhibitor that hopefully prevent rust in the future. Now, if you have a look over it, you'll find that there's an entrance pretty much to the top of every cross member. You shouldn't really have to drill anything. You can see there's a hole to pretty much all of them. So you can see now it's working its way through all these members like it should. It's coming out there, so the whole base of these is going to have a good coat now. So we're going to take it outside, and I'm going to leave it firstly with this end down and parked on that little hill. So it'll all run to that side. And then next time I'm up, I'll switch it around so it's the other way and it'll all run to that side. And hopefully it'll give everything a good coating then. So while my drill recharges, I'm going to now look at the actual hitch and the braking system on the trailer. Again, as I said, I got all the gear from Huntsman Products. We've got a new hitch, new master cylinder, and a new master cylinder mount. Got the bolts, so we're going to put it on the new boom right now. So I'm just trying to work out how exactly I'm going to route the brake line through the boom here. You see, if you end up doing something like that, resting it on a box or it falls off or something, you don't want the brake line running along under the boom because it's just going to break it. So you have to put it inside the boom. The only thing I didn't have was this piece of rubber tube, so I nicked the one off the axle, and I'll get another one for the axle. Basically this goes in there. Then we have to run this into the boom and hitch it up to a soldered line. So I think I'm going to hole saw a hole here so I can just run it straight down and into there. Like that. So this is the copper brake line. Again, got it just off Huntsman Products. It's 5 meters. I've put the flexi hose on it and pinched this right up because we're not going to ever get a chance to access that again. And now it's a matter of feeding it up that boom and out the little hole we made just there. Here's a tip. Brake line doesn't like to be knocked around on other surfaces. It often wears through, especially if it's sort of in a bending thing. So just get some vacuum line, cut a little bit up with a slit in it, wrap it around and put some zip ties on it. You don't have to do a lot of them, but every now and then, just so it's cushioned by something on the other metal. So that's in, connected up and fed all the way through now. Now we've got to start running it around to the axle. So I'm slowly running the brake line all around the side of the trailer. I had to run it this side, unfortunately, because running it this side, it didn't have enough length, which is annoying. But anyway, got to here, and if you're going to take one thing away from this when you're running a brake line around it, it's this: you can't just bend it like that. You will kink it, you will break it. You need to bend it. It'll have a minimum certain radius that you have to bend it at. Best way to do it is just using your thumbs like that. Try and get a reasonably sized radius where the bend is. Just be gentle and you shouldn't run into any problem. I've got another little flexi line to link up the remaining bit of the brake system. I've got a bunch of little metal retainers or holders, whatever you want to call them. The line's fully secured now. Used the little bit of vacuum line on every one. I'll put one more there, but no, the brake line's in complete. So to bleed trailer brakes, best thing to do is get your handy bit of vacuum line, undo the bleeding nip on the top of the caliper, get a clean container, one that's transparent. So put your vacuum line into a thing of brake fluid so that the entrance to it is definitely submerged. Now we're ready to start pumping new fluid into the system. That way no air is going to get back into it from this way. When it stops bubbling, you know that this one's full. So we put fluid in there. Now just start pumping it through the system. Keep topping it up. You don't want to let it drain out, so more air is pushed into it. So when you think this one's fully bled, you can do this back up. Move on to the other side. Once you've done the same to the other side, you've pumped enough fluid through that it stops bubbling. Pinch that one off, and the handle should now be pretty firm to pull. Still could be a bit of air in it, but do it a few times again and you should have it sorted. Next thing we're going to focus on is the lights. So I've got them over here. Just always get LED lights. The amount of money I've spent replacing just stupid incandescent lights, it's ridiculous. Just water gets into them, they never last, they corrode out. Get waterproof LED lights. That's all I can say. That's the light. I did have to drill new holes, but that's it on. Looks good. So I like to run the electrical wire through the actual drawbars of the trailer as much as I can without having it on the outside. It's the best thing for feeding it through. Get something that's flexible and stiff. An old fishing rod will do pretty well, but I think this fiberglass pole will too. There you go. This is the best way to join up all the light wiring, I've always thought. Rather than joining these two, then joining them further up or running a separate wire from each tail light up to the front, I just run a wire from one all the way across to the other one, and just do one join that joins all three. So the one to the front, this light, and that light. That way there's just the one big join you've got to do, plus the other one on that light. So you manage to do it in two joins, not three or four. So with the wiring joins, there's not much to say. you can't use the little clips, or don't use duct tape either. Use solder and heat shrink. That way it'll never give you an issue. Little heat shrink there and a big one to cover it. Success. Before you heat shrink up everything and zip tie everything on, you really should test it, because if something's out and you have to pull it all out again, just in for a bad time. So these are the things that the guards actually mount off, that I bought from Huntsman Products, that go in here. But because this is a little bit of a unique trailer and it doesn't have these lengths of pipe here, it's probably not going to attach very well there. And I'm having a bit of offset issue with the wheel anyway. So I've just cut up a piece of angle I had lying around. I'm going to mount these off there, then bolt these to the trailer. They're just 6mm steel bracket. So that's how I've secured them on. Nothing fancy, just stainless bolts using my bracket that I painted and onto there into the guard. So there's nothing I hate more than a shit winch. That's why I probably spent a bit more on this one. I think this was about $150. Get something with the synthetic rope. The cables just give you splinters and don't last that long as it is. I don't like the ones where the handle can come off, because you always lose it. And just a 1:5 ratio. You should be strong enough to pull a boat this size onto it with a ratio like that. So simple, good quality and reliable. Done. So there you have it, the $1,000 full trailer restoration. And really, no matter what condition it was in to begin with, apart from maybe replacing a welding and a cross member, which is pretty cheap, that's sort of all you can do, and it's sort of all there is to do. So that figures something anyone can sort of replicate on any boat trailer, I reckon. And I did even find, when looking for a few other bits for it, I did even find you can get if you go to an actual trailer wholesaler shop like the one in Brisbane, the rollers are even cheaper. So are the guards, even cheaper than eBay. So there's probably a few more $100 of savings to have done there. Anyway, the roadworthy man is about to come. I think he's actually already here. Yep. Yeah, so that's about it for this episode. Next one, we're going to be starting to look at the fiberglass on the boat, all the fiberglass repairs to do. So I should release that one pretty soon. Thanks, guys.